Today we see a new trend among rising young executives who see their Hispanic heritage as an added value to bring diversified perspectives. We call them the new internationalist. Here are 3 of their stories. Martin Alvarez is the very definition of a new internationalist. Martin considers himself a Latin American who is not defined by a specific country's borders. He has built a career by returning to Central and South America and building his multicultural skills. He is currently the Regional Vice President for Latin America and the Caribbean for the G4S Corporation.
A little bit about myself is I was born in Guatemala, Cuban parents, 100% Cuban blood. Very proud of that heritage. My parents are Cuban exiles. And I lived in 4 countries before I arrived to the United States. To Louisiana, Baton Rouge. I didn't speak English. In a community that at that point in time wasn't incredibly international or diverse. And I learned very quickly that I was different. And at that particular time, what I didn't learn is that being different was good. So you learn to adapt, but what you never lose is the roots of what was going on at home. They said, always differentiate yourself and be very proud of who you are and what makes you different. So I learned very quickly that I could use an advantage, the fact that I was very much Latin in my upbringing, in my management of the language, but it's not being bilingual, it's not being multinational, it's really being bicultural, meaning you can turn the chip on or off and say, right now, if I'm working in the United States and I need to present this to a US group, I can focus in that way. And if I'm in Latin America, I can be very Latin and I can be one of that community. So in my career, I've lived in 10 different countries in total. I do consider myself quite international. I consider myself very Cuban American, born in Guatemala, having lived in all these countries. My sister's Texan. So in the end, we have the whole mix, and that makes you stand out if you know how to use and leverage all of those things. And you want to do things that not everybody's willing to do. Because in today's day and age, in the corporate world, it's all about change. I think there's a huge opportunity for the Latin Americans that are in the United States, whatever generation they might be, first, second, third, to take that opportunity if it comes to them, to go back to Latin America. And I think they'd be surprised as to how much value they can add to themselves, but also the developing world. And then with that knowledge and with that experience, go back to the United States and have an even stronger impact and have a better understanding. And I think there's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, whether they speak the language or not, you can pick it up. If you speak the language, so much more the better. And if you really have that passion and it's part of your blood and you have it in your roots, why not ignite it and cross those barriers and understand much more what it is to be Latin American.